Hi, good evening. I am a little bit late because I've just finished a session and it is so steamy hot. I wanted to go and have a shower. So I'm just going to wait for some of you to come on. I am going to just give it a little share. If you are here, come say hello so I know that you are, because I've got a very exciting subject to speak about today. Right, is this working? Am I live? Can you see me? Are you here? Oh, there we are. Right, let me share this. Hey Bonnie, how you doing? Okay, give me 2 secs. I'll be with you in just a minute. Let's get this on the group. Please feel free to share with your friends if you know anybody that would be interested in such topics. Because today we're going to talk about shadow work, about light work. It is sweltering, isn't it? My room is now, actually when I came in here it was saying it was 36 degrees. It's now a very cool 31 and I've just come out the shower, so a freezing cold shower, so yeah, that's me. Yeah, we're going to be talking about shadow work, facing the dark, facing the light, all these very exciting topics because I have noticed something going on in the spiritual community, and I did a little post on it the other day and I had quite a lot of comments on it, so it looks like it's not just me that has been experiencing or noticing that. So yeah, I'd love to know your views. I really want this to be interactive, and I'd love to hear your experiences, your questions, your understandings, your you know, where you are with all of this stuff too. Hey Wayne, so if you're here on the live, do put a hashtag live. If you're watching on the replay, watch a hashtag replay so I know who is here and who has been watching. So shadow work, is this the buzzword of the year? Like, what on earth is it? So I think we should start with that, about clearing that up. So for me, shadow work is about, or what the shadow is the it's the parts of us that we don't necessarily see. We can often say, oh, it's the dark parts or the bad parts, but it's not necessarily that. It's those parts of us that are, you know, where the light doesn't hit. You know, if you think about our shadow, our physical shadow, it's where, you know, there's an obstruction in the way, our body coming from the sun, and then the shadow is there and following behind us. So it's the parts of us that we don't see, that we're not looking at, that perhaps we're not aware of. And as we know with our shadow, there is no running from it, right? It doesn't matter how fast we run and how far we go. The shadow is always going to be there following behind us. And what you find, or what I found certainly, is that as we come on and we start doing this spiritual work, as we start doing this light work, our shadow starts to come up. Because, and this is why I think it is, as we are getting lighter and brighter, think about this as your literal physical shadow. When does the shadow turn up? When is the shadow at the most obvious? It's when we're facing the light, right? It's when we have the light shining on us. When it's dark, when it's dim, when we are, you know, when we don't have any light around us, the shadow is not obvious. It might be there, it might be very faint, but it's not so blatant. This is very much the same with our personal shadow. But I think people often think that the shadow is the bad things, the things that are not acceptable in society, the things that we might deem as bad emotions or sad emotions or anger or all of these things, which that can be true for us, but really it's the stuff that we don't recognize. And here's the thing, how do we know that something's coming up for us, and how do we know that something is there in our shadows? It's when we get triggered by something. It's when we find ourselves seeing this experience going on, and it's making us mad, it's making us sad, it's making us angry. And we're projecting it out on the world. We see other people behaving in a certain way. And why do we get so mad at that? Maybe, perhaps, it's because there's something in us that hasn't been healed. Maybe it's something in us that we don't recognize for ourselves. But I want to say this before we get any deeper into the shadow work, because this is super important. And for me, this was as much part of my healing journey as the other bits of the shadow. When we are thinking about the shadow and we are going under this umbrella term that it's everything that's bad, sad, wrong with us, it's the things that we do not see in ourselves. And what are some of the things that we don't see in ourselves? Our talents, our grace, our ability, our power, all of these things that are hidden inside. And how do they show up? Or we get jealous about this. We are, copying somebody else's stuff. We are, putting other people down. We are, like all these things. Or, where we are dimming our light. We are dimming our light, which isn't getting rid of the shadow, it's just hiding it. So a massive part of our shadow, and I think Carl Jung, who determined the name, or termed the name the shadow, actually said that 90% of our shadow is gold. So imagine that, 90% of the stuff that we don't see in ourselves, that we hide for fear of being judged, for fear of being seen, for fear of being called out, is the gold that lives inside us, the potential, the ability, the power, the strength. And this is one of the reasons why shadow work is so important. We say a few hellos. Hey Lisa, hey Wayne, oh gosh, that's my chair. Let's turn you back round, there we go. Hi, back again. You just met my chair. That's where you would sit if you were in my healing room. Okay. So why am I talking about this today? Well, for me, shadow work has where it started off for me a few years ago. I went on a shadow workshop and I learned so much about myself, and I found the whole thing really freeing, and I was delving into all of those things that I did not dare look at. Good and bad, high and low, like all the stuff. And I was like, okay, where do I feel shame? Where do I feel darkness? Where am I hidden? Where am I suppressing things? And it was so freeing, because suddenly, I said at the beginning that the shadow, we can't run away from it. We can't hide from it. Yeah, we can dim down the light, but it's still there. It's just not so obvious. As you start to integrate that, as you start to bring it closer, as you start to accept that for what it is, a part of us. And there's the key term, acceptance. As we start to accept it stops weighing on us so much. And this is what I found. But here's my beef. I did my shadow work. I started, seriously on my shadow work about, I think it was 2018. When I really started to delve into this. So, I'd been on my spiritual path for some time. I learned Reiki back in 2008, which was very much the start of it for me. And so, this is 10 years later where I was like, right, now I'm ready. Because what happened? In those years, I was growing. I was raising my light body. I was seeing all of this potential. I was doing the high vibing thing. I was delving into the law of attraction. I was realizing that my thoughts can literally create my reality. I was proving to myself that I have an influence, I have power that I hold in me that creates what is going on around me. I realised that I have this healing potential, that I can not just help myself, but I can help other people. And in that time, I changed my job, I changed my life. I started to work with the things that were more soul-led. I started to experience more harmony in my life. But what happened? As my light body was growing, guess what? My shadow, the things that I didn't want to see in myself, because they weren't high vibe, because they weren't love and light, because they weren't, peace and harmony and Om, Zen and all of this stuff. Guess what? They started to show up. And the brighter I was getting and the more light I was allowing in there, the darkness was there and it was following me. Yes, it was there all along, but it was only until I suppose I received this, I got to this certain level of brightness that I was like, okay, now it's weighing me down. Now there's something that I really need to do about this, because there's, did you just see that orb? I did. Because there's only so much further I can go now. And then at that point, for me, we're all on our own journey, but for me, that was when I was ready to turn around and go, okay, what's in there? What's in this bag that I have been carrying around like a heavy weight for so long? And it's been there, and yes, things would come up, things would trigger, I'd get mad, I'd get angry, I'd get, I'd be in fear, I'd be in frustration, I'd be in all of these things. But maybe before that point, I wasn't quite ready to face what was in there. You know what? If I'd have looked in that bag right at the beginning of my journey, before I discovered, or when I was discovering about things like vibrational resonance and healing potential, maybe I'd have run a mile, because I'd have been looking backwards and all I would have been seeing is dark. You know, who wants to be there? Get it? Who's with me? Does anyone else feel that? I mean, I don't know, you guys who are watching, where you are in your journeys, how far, how much of this work you've been doing, how long you've been in there. But this is what I'm finding, is that right now, in these last couple of years especially, a lot more people are waking up to their potential. So many more people are understanding that we have this power and we have this light and we have this potential within us. But then we're coming into this and we're like, whoa, love and light. And, these books which certainly helped me for so long, The Power of Now, The Secret, the Abraham Hicks work, the Vortex, and, praying to the angels and all of these things that for me helped me get from, where I was working in a job that was really, not that high vibe, right? And to get me from here to where I am now, they pulled me up. But then all these people are waking up, and then you've got these, I don't know what to call them. And I want to say this before I go further than this. There's people that are saying what I'm about to say. I don't think are coming at it from, I think they're coming at it from a good place. I think that they are recognizing that this darkness, this heaviness, this gunk that we all hold inside us needs to be dealt with. Because I, for one, am not one about spiritual bypassing. Let me talk about spiritual bypassing for a minute. What's that? That is trying to love and light your way out of anything. That is going, oh yeah, well, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm feeling sad about this, this is really getting my goat, this is triggering me, and going, no, I'm just going to ignore that, I'm just going to, keep on looking that way. Because what happens, like I say, is then as the light comes in more, the shadow is growing bigger. Like if you imagine that we are here, and I've spoken about this before, my crystal's like disappearing, that we are here as this light body, And if there's a lower, if there's a part of us that holds these triggers and these traumas and these beliefs and these ideologies and these patternings and these programs and goodness me, all of this stuff that we've held within us for so long, as the light pours in, there's only going to be a certain amount of time where this will start to get drudged up. And if we're like, well, I'm only interested in this bit because this is where the fairies and unicorns are and this is what feels good and I'm only going to aim for that, then you're only going to get so far, because this has to go somewhere. And the only way we're going to transmute that or change that is by facing it and by looking at it and recognizing it. And here's the key: integrating it, not fighting against it, not trying to dismiss it, because all that's going to do is put it more in the shadows. What's Bonnie said? I know that I have to face the darkness to move forward. I'm at the beginning of my journey and I know I have to deal with it to move forward. Yes, we do. So this is where it begins, with this recognition. Yes, I know it's there. But what I'm seeing happening in the community is like, no, the love and light stuff, it's all rubbish, it's just spiritual bypassing, you've got to do the work, you've got to dread this all up, you've got to look at your triggers and your patternings and where you are in this row and where you are contributing to this ideology or where you are part of the problem and all this stuff. And it's like, whoa, hold on a minute. I came into this journey to achieve balance, to receive light, to improve myself, to be more of myself in the world. And I tell you this, you are not just your baggage and your traumas and your beliefs and your stories and your parents and ancestors' stories that they fed into you. You are a powerful light being. That's what you are first. And that, for me, is where you start. Recognizing that I am a powerful light being and I have potential to move forward and grab at my dreams. I know that I do not have to be there. And Bonnie said, I think the love and light help me to cope with facing the darkness, so one cannot exist without the other. Exactly. There is this wave of people right now who are doing a good job, and I definitely think that they have this place, but it's like, I just keep on seeing this. It's almost like shaming those that are aiming for the light, like, no, you've got to look for the dark. But I'll tell you this. The world works on resonance. The world works on vibration. We are creating our reality. We've heard this, right? You've heard this. You know this. We're creating our reality. Our thoughts become things. All of these things are true. So there's two things going on here. One, what we face, what we look for, that is what we will find. So if we are going and we are trying to find all our darkness, we are like, I am dredging through my sludge and through my drudge and through my, traumas and darkness, guess what you will get? Trauma and darkness coming up. Now, this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is healing, right? This is exposing. This is starting to shine the light upon the dark. But if we are resonating down here at that point and we're like, oh God, I better not start facing the light until I recognize that there's all these atrocities going on in the world, until I start fighting against this or that, until I, accept and come to terms with what happened to me there, you're in a pretty, unstable place to start to look at these things. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying don't do it. Do it. Yes, do the work. But how about doing it this way? How about facing the light and looking at the potential that's there? Understanding that we live in a beautiful world with so much potential, that we hold infinite power. We are literally the universe in human form. It's what we are. We're made from the stars. We are of the stars. that everything that we could possibly want is available to us. And becoming very clear how, by setting our intention that we are living that soul-led life, by bringing healing to our body, by literally, and I'm talking literally, putting our face to the sun, bringing in those sun codings, bringing our feet to the earth, looking for the wonders in life, saying our positive affirmations, and not the crap that's like, oh, you know, if you're feeling, what's an example? You're feeling poor and you start saying, I am rich. That's not, because what's that going to do? That's going to make you feel bad. So there's no point saying these affirmations if they're going to make you feel bad, right? Who's done that? You done that? Tell me. I'd love to hear, because when I read The Secret, that's what came to me. Just say I have this house in Aspen or whatever it is, and it will come. It's not like that, because if I say I have a house in Aspen, and what's triggering me is, no you don't, you can't even pay your bill, then actually that's making me feel bad. And here's the thing, the universe is responding to our vibration, not just our thoughts. Our thoughts are a vibration, okay? Our feeling is a stronger vibration than our thoughts. So this is my suggestion or my advice. We aim for where it is that we want to go. I want to become this enlightened being. I am reclaiming my power. I am moving towards joy. My body and my mind are healing. I am open to receiving the wonders of the world. Insert your favourite affirmation here. And I'd like to hear yours, because yours will be different to mine. So put them in the chat. We go to where we want to go, yeah? I am moving towards abundance. Let's use that one, because that's kind of quite a hot topic as well, right? And then you notice what's going on. Because if that feeling of poverty comes up, I don't deserve it, who am I to receive this? I don't have the talent to do this. There's many other people doing the thing that I do, so who's going to listen to me? Again, insert your favourite excuse. As that starts to come up, that's when your shadow is going, I know you want to go there, and I really want that light to come in and fill in. I would love for that to happen. But until you deal with this, isn't that weird how my light keeps going on and off? There's not a light, I'm in daylight. When that comes up for you, that is your shadow inviting you to look at it. And then when you are vibrationally aligned to that thing that you desire, and because if you desire it, it is there somewhere in your vortex, somewhere in your potential opportunity. And you start, as soon as you start to want it, desire it, manifest it, as you start to create it, you're starting to bring it towards you more. So you have that forward energy, but then you have that backwards energy, which are your limiting beliefs, which are your programs, which are your traumas, which are all of these things that are holding you back, that are sitting there in your shadow. Then you will have an invitation that's saying, here we go, look at me, look at me. And how do you know? Because you're feeling bad. Because the person that's doing what you're doing is triggering the life out of you. Because you're finding yourself getting angry or sad or despondent or whatever. You're finding yourself procrastinating and making those excuses about why you can't do it. But if you can consider it, if it's even there and you're like, yes, this is I would love to do, and it makes your heart sing and your soul zhuzh, then then you're being supported by the light, which, you know what, when you look backwards, it's going to make it a lot less scary. Your resonance is a lot higher, your vibrational field is a lot higher, it's a lot more stable. And if you think about what I was saying at the beginning, that yes, we can go into a darker room and that darkness will make the shadow look like it's disappeared, but actually what you're doing is you're sitting in shadow. What's the best thing to do? Get your torch, shine your light on it, and what will that do? It will make the shadow go. It will make it disappear. And how do we shine the light on it? We look at it and we go, okay, I see you. Where's that belief come from? Where am I feeding into that? Where are my behaviors, my feelings, my thoughts, my desires, my actions, my environment? Where is that playing into that? And how can I integrate that? How can I bring acceptance to this, not fight against it, because then you're coming into war energy, you're coming into separation, you're coming into it, it's either black or it's white. We shine the light on it. We go, okay, come here. Treat it like a child, because probably that's where your shadows come from, this inner child, this, you know, what do they say, that our programming comes from before we are 7, the beliefs that our parents gave to us. And where do those beliefs come from? They come from their parents and their parents and their parents. And I tell you this, we are in a completely different vibrational field than we were even 10 years ago, let alone 5 generations ago, where these things are passing down from. So we look at them and we bring compassion and we bring love and we bring understanding. We see where we are seeing it in our external world. And for me, once you bring acceptance to it, yeah, that's me. You know what? Yeah, I behave that way sometimes. You know what? Yes, that makes me feel like crap. You know what? Sometimes I'm not the perfect person. Sometimes I'm not in love and light. Sometimes I don't meditate in a day. Sometimes I just sleep and I don't lucid dream. Sometimes I am not sure if the prayer I have given has worked. Sometimes I shout. Sometimes I get mad. Sometimes I'm doing my yoga and I might look like I know what I'm doing, but I haven't got a clue. Sometimes I want to sing really loud, but I don't let myself come out from there. Sometimes I just want to say no when I've said yes. Like, whatever it is, we bring acceptance to it. Well, you might even come out of it. You might even put something on your Facebook saying, you know what, whenever I'm in a new situation, I think everybody hates me. And people are like, what? And then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I don't need to hide that anymore. I don't need to put that in the bag of shame that I've been carrying on my back for all of this time. And this is the magic that happens there. Now, on a vibrational level, that thing that was weighing you down and holding you in this space, that sludge has come up, and it has, the density has broken down. It's starting to vibrate higher. It's starting to work with you rather than against you. It frees up the energy that we spend. You know how much energy we spend trying to hide who we truly are. And this is what they don't want you to know. That as you encompass yourself, as you integrate all of that, good, bad, and all of the stuff in between, and we stop judging it as good or bad, we just accept it. You know what? That's how it is. That is how it is. And you know what? I want to be better. I want to be lighter. I deserve better. I deserve brighter. I deserve stronger. I deserve joy and harmony and happiness, because we do. We all do. Then this is where the magic happens, because then whatever it is that we were aiming for that helps this shadow come to light because it was stopping us from getting there, then we don't have that resistance anymore. We don't have that pull back and pull forward. Then we're just moving forward, and we're moving into the light, and we're bringing more light in. And guess what? As we bring more light in, more light will come. But then the darkness, as more light comes, more darkness gets revealed. And then guess what? You go back and you do it again, but this time you do it stronger. And this is what keeps on coming. So it is a never-ending journey. And these, these people that are saying this thing like, oh, well, if you're not looking at the darkness, you're faking it. This is, I guess, where they start to make sense. Yeah, I agree with them. You will only get so far if you don't look at the dark. But what's this? You have to be delving into the dark. You have to be going to this protest. You have to be calling out everybody. You have to be doing all of this stuff. No, you don't. Yes, there will be people that have to call people out. Of course there will. But I want to show you something. Let me see if I can get the picture up. I've shared about this before, about the vibrational field and our emotions and the emotional scale, okay? And what's going on. So we live in a vibrational universe. This is all the stuff that we've been talking about, right? We live in a vibrational universe. And we are moving up the scale as beings, as light workers, as humans in this time. With all of this light that's coming in, we are starting to move up through our chakras, through our energy centers, through our dimensions, if you like. So this is what happens as we start off, and where many of us have been. We've been in this, in the lower vibration, in the vibration of fear, which holds. I'll show you this, which holds that thing of, yeah, I'm getting by. Yeah, I'm doing this. Oh, life is a struggle. How much do you hear that? Money doesn't grow on trees. Life is a struggle. Well, life isn't fair. Deal with it. This is what, for me anyway, this is what, you hear growing up. This is the general consensus with people. So we're sitting there in those lower chakras where we have to survive. We have to get the job, work for somebody else, put in all our hours. And you might be earning good money, but guess what? You don't have the time to spend it, and you can't even make your choices, and you have to do that. We're not going into that debate. But we're living in those emotions of shame, guilt, fear, right? They're the lowest emotions. So I'm not sure this will come up. Oh, no. No, it's not really. So these here, I'll read them out to you. These are the lower emotions. So shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. They are keeping us low, and the more that we are down here, the less power we have, the less light there is in our body, the lower our resonant field. So the less potential, no, not the less potential, our vibration is lower. So those things that we want that are high vibration are further away from us, if you like. But then the next level up, so this is where many people are now, as they come and they start to awaken, they're like, oh, I don't want to be in that energy of just getting by. I want to start to live a little. Who's there? You there? I want to start to live a little, but where does that go to? Desire. Yes, this is the law of attraction. This is the sort of thing I can have. This is what I can, what I can achieve from here. we've got a desire, it's still quite a low energy, because desire is apart from you. Desire is something that you want but you don't necessarily have. This is really interesting. The next level up from that is anger. And this is where I feel a lot of this energy that's being thrown at light workers, if you want to call them that, is coming from. Because yes, they're moving away from fear or from apathy and from guilt and from grief, and they're like, yes, there is a new world. But if you get stuck there, which I tell you this, if you're looking in the dark all of the time, if you're looking at all the things that are wrong with you, or wrong with society, or wrong with the world, and you know, there's the collective shadow as well as our own, then guess what? The universe reflects back where we are. So if we are looking at in that emotion and we don't let ourselves move on from it, we're just going to perpetuate more anger. As we move up that scale, pride, courage, I am a brave warrior looking at my shadow. And it does take courage to go, oh, I'm going to look at it, I'm going to face the dark, I'm going to, you know, go into that closet and dredge up what's out there. So this is good. This is better than being in fear or grief or all of these other things. This is like the 4D. If you're hearing these terms, it's like the 4D. But then what comes up? Neutrality. Neutrality. Would you put that as a higher emotional vibration than courage? Turns out, in terms of resonance, yes it is. Because as you start to not get pulled, oh my God, this happened, isn't the world atrocious, everyone condemn everyone else, anger, judgment, yeah, and you come into, okay, I'm going to let that occur, and I'm going to look at what's next. I'm going to not let my vibration be swayed. I'm not going to let myself be that, you know, weeble wobble. Oh my God, did my screen just weeble wobble when I did that? That's weird. Is it? I don't know. And then it comes to willingness, acceptance, reason. And if you find that you are there and you're being cooled down by people who are saying to you, oh, well, you should be going in there. Maybe you have, okay, maybe you're further along than you think, because that's where we're going towards. Anger certainly has its place. And I am not saying to ignore and just, oh yeah, it's fine, it's just as it is. But what's the point in putting all of your energy into, isn't the world an awful place? Aren't people awful? This needs changing, that needs changing, if you've got no sight to how it changes too. Because here's the key. If you can visualize it, where it's moving to, where you are moving towards, how you want it to be, well, guess what? That's what you're putting into the vortex, into the collective, into the cloud. And then what? Then you're making the world a better place. Right? So we are moving up through it. And this is what I want to say. Don't let yourself get stuck in the shadow. Here it is. Make time for it. Let your work, let your intention, let your focus be on rising. Let your focus be on love, joy, harmony, peace, enlightenment, ascension, whatever it is that you're, aiming for, freedom, joy. I love that, joy. Let your focus be there. Find yourself moving up that mountain to joy, and enjoy the view while you're going there, and go across the rough terrain as it comes. And every now and then, when the oxygen starts to thin, the world, it gets a little harder and you've got this rucksack on your back and you're like, hold on a minute, I've been carrying all this stuff up here. Let's have a little look. Because now I'm finding I can't get from here to here. So what is it that's going on in here? Because at that point you are in the right terrain. You have those resources around you. You have that vibration where you can just go, okay, there it is. That's this thing. Do I want to bring it with me? Do I want to integrate it? Do I want to, for example, if that weight was a bottle of water in your bag up the mountain, which is heavy, do I want to drink that water, bring it in, allow it to move through me, and therefore lightening my load as I integrate it into me? Can I leave it behind responsibly? Can I use this, what I have here, to make a change, to make something better, to help somebody else? Can I pass this on to somebody? And I'm not talking about giving somebody your anger, but, you know, creating that discussion, showing that compassion and that understanding, because that's something that you've been through yourself. And that will make your journey up the mountain easier. Don't get yourself stuck on the, you know, delving in the bag thing. Because you keep on delving, you'll keep on getting. Make a time and make a place for it. Notice when you're getting angry. Notice when you're getting despondent. Notice if you start to spiral down the mountain, so to speak. And then you ask yourself, what am I bringing with me? And what resources do I have that I am not actualizing yet? That maybe are sitting in my bag, that are a talent, a skill, potential, a learning that you are yet to ground. Bring those with you and let them help you move up. Turn your face to the sun and allow it to fill you with as much light as you can handle. And then turn around. When you're ready, when you're appropriate, when you have that support, you don't have to do it on your own. You never have to do it on your own. You can, but you never have to. Does that help? Make sense? As Bonnie said, the love and light help me to cope with facing the darkness. We live, right now, we live in a world of duality. For me, this whole narrative that's going on right now is just that. It's a narrative to bring more separation, more confusion, more darkness, where we have potential to bring light. Yes, there is a time and there is a place to do your shadow work. Do your shadow work. Don't ignore the stuff that's going on. Speak out when you need to speak out. Stand your ground when you need to stand your ground. Don't dim your light because you think that somebody else knows better than you, or that, you know, oh, well, I've got to do this because this is what everybody else is doing. If it doesn't feel right to you, you stand up to it, but you stand in your power. Not in fear, not in anger, but in, you know, this is my strength. I have my light and I know that the light is supporting me. And then use your support team. Use the tools and the techniques that you've learned. Use your spiritual support team. Use your Reiki or your energy healing or your crystals. Use your affirmations if it's appropriate. Use your tapping to help rid yourself or remove yourself from these limiting beliefs that are just holding us back. Do all of those things. Please do all of those things, because they're going to help raise your light body. But don't get stuck there. If you find yourself stuck there, lift yourself out and go, okay, where's my next step up the mountain? That's where I'm going, that's where I'm aiming for. And start to move up there. Take the next step. Take a break from this. Allow yourself to feel that neutrality. Bring what brings you joy into your life. Do not dim that. Don't leave that behind. Don't think, oh, well, it's not spiritual because I'm, doing this. If you bring joy into your life, something that makes you happy, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. Something that really sparks you up, that makes you happy, that makes you feel good. You bring that into your life, that is going to raise your vibration, that is sending a huge message out to the universe that I am worth it, and I am a light being, and I have all of this potential around me. Fill yourself up first with light. Let it expose the darkness. And then look at it with care, with love, with light. And watch how it dissolves, integrates, lightens, softens. Or how it fuels you to take that next step up the mountain. That's what you do. That's what you do. And you don't need to do it alone. You find somebody to help you, to motivate you. You find your tribe, your team, your coach, your support network, your family, and you bring joy with them. And when they're triggering you, and if they're bringing you down and they're doing that, go, okay, I can see where this is affecting my energy. What can I do now to bring that? What do I need to look into? What is unhealed in me that is exasperating this in my life? What is this trying to show me? Where can I make changes, and where can I take responsibility? Because that is power. Without being pulled down, that's that neutrality. Without being pulled down into shame, grief, fear, all of that stuff. And then you let that love, that peace, that joy, that harmony, that enlightenment pull you up. For me, that's healthier. Do the work. Don't let that stuff stop you from getting up the mountain. But don't get stuck down the bottom either. The light's there. And sometimes right now it feels like it's not, right? Sometimes it feels like it's bloody dark out there and there's all this stuff going on and you're like, what on earth is going on? But it's there. You need to face it. You need to look at it. You need to find it. You bring it into you. And I tell you what, you'll find more of it and you'll find more of it. That's what we're here for. And when you see that conversation happening, let it be a reminder to you that yes, we all have stuff. We have shadow. Come on, we've all got stuff we're working on. Most of us have got ancestral lines to bring healing to, past lives to resolve, our own blooming life to resolve. And that's okay. We're all a work in progress. But you have got this. Best way to get it, bring the light in. Let it light up the shadow. Okay? Got it? Got it. I hope that's made sense. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I feel like that was a little bit of a sermon, but I'd love to hear what you think about this. If you need more support on these very subjects, I'm pleased to say that my waiting list is now open for my community. You can find it at melissa-amos.com/waitlist. That will let you be one of the first to know when those doors are open. And for me, this is really about bringing you that community that's going to help you evolve, that's going to give you that support so you don't feel that you have to do it alone. And we will be certainly talking about things like how to do shadow work safely, how to enlighten, how to raise your light body, and all of those juicy, lovely things. So let me put it on there so you can find it. And if you are watching this on YouTube, I will pop the links in the comments. But I hope that you have enjoyed today's juicy topic. It was quite a juicy topic. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you think. And if you think that this conversation will help anybody, please tag them, share them, bring them in. I'd love to hear. Anyway, thank you. I've seen quite a few of you have stayed on for the duration. So thanks for watching. I'm not here next week because I am on my holidays. But I'll be back the following week talking about something else. Anyway, bless you all. Go find the light and enjoy that climb up the mountain. See you soon.